Hello, everyone. Let's see if I can do this. It's just an impromptu Q&A about Table for One, Pigman, comics in general, pop culture. If you have any questions on my thoughts on what's going on and what's not going on, etc., and we can go back and forth. And also, I'll see if I can move some of my original art. I'm not that precious with my original art, but when it comes to my comic book art, yeah, I sell that for a lot more. But my individual art, my Muhammad cartoons, I'll sell for a little cheaper, and also small ones like this. I mean, I sell for cheaper. This is something I did many years ago during art school. Just look at the execution, superb. Not quite. They hung it, but forgot to bury it. My attitude about the snobby art movement. A drawing of me with Muhammad photobombing. A picture of me. This is a Pigman burying jihad. East Pay, Pig Latin. Peace, right? That's peace right there. When jihad is buried, and Pigman stands over it, having buried it. Metaphorically, of course, our soldier will end up doing that. Those that get a little sensitive about that, it's like, hey, Pigman's not real. Yeah, I'm well aware, but he's a symbol for what needs to be done. He's a symbol for that. And I have a number of other ones. So, hey, Moral Fat, 40 ounce, how's it going? Any questions? Just ask away about my work, about my thoughts on pop culture, comics, whatever. Any curiosities? Just let me know. I just want to do this. Just another impromptu live stream. I do enjoy these. And again, if anyone wants any original art, let me know. I have a number of my pieces here. This is actually from a book. It was a drawing. It was a Quran book, a Danish Quran book. This is my idea of paradise, my visualization of paradise with the Houris, the 72 virgins, quote unquote, and the boys as beautiful as pearls serving the martyrs, quote unquote, the terrorists. That was this the original art. It ended up being the front and back cover, and also within the book itself. Kanye West, Farrakhan Muhammad, Jews, Zionists. It's basically it's a triple drawing. It's Muhammad, Louis Farrakhan, and Kanye West, all rolled into one. That's why he yells out, Jews 3 times, Zionists 3 times. It's 3 guys in there. Basically, it's Muhammad's turban, the horn turban, Louis Farrakhan's glasses and bow tie, and then Kanye West's face. Farrakhan. I thought that was a good blend. Another drawing I have here is the Woker, basically a Joker. I did this, I think, before the movie came out, catching wind of how the reaction was going to be. The left was already heroizing the Joker, as they did with Thanos. They used to say Thanos was right. It's like, really? It makes sense that leftists would think Thanos is right. Another one here, Greta Thunberg as Muhammad. And yeah, any questions, let me know. Anyone? If you have any questions about what I think about comics, entertainment, about free speech, definitely I can talk about that. I showed this one before. This is Muhammad as a rapper. I'm killing me some infidels, yo. Emoji, Muhammad as an emoji. And again, this one, I would assume some people would be interested in this. I haven't been able to move it though. It's Eric July as Muhammad, Ripper Muhammad, with a horned turban. It's fun. So yeah, if anyone's here, let me know. Ask some questions. Any comments about my art? Let me know, guys and girls. I guess I got to get a little more numbers here to get some action, some activity. Because It's just not. Last time, a similar thing. But yeah, so if anyone else out there, let me know. If you're interested in what I do and why I do it, and again, in my original art, I like to move some of the stuff. Again, I'm not precious about my original art. To me, it's basically it's raw material, stuff that the whole point of it is to publish it in stories. That's really my whole point of my quote-unquote original art. It's to push it to into story form. Thanks. Appreciate it. If anyone else can do that as well, I would appreciate it. I have, I think, 26,000 followers on Twitter, about 13,000 on Facebook. It's going simultaneously on all three platforms, and only 1,300 something followers on YouTube. But amongst them all, it's about, about 50, I guess, about that much. So if anyone can share it, I would appreciate it. Thanks, Immoral Fat. AP 40 ounce, maybe. I'll call you that. It's funny. But yeah, so any questions, let me know. If you have any questions about my first comic, Table for One, about Pigman, let me know. I walked through quite a room, not a soul in sight. My first book. It was nominated for an Eisner. Check out my channel because there's a double page spread in my comic. That's fine, man. I mean, I don't, there's one guy, Mike Cunt. He's funny. This is a double page spread in Table of One, my first book. And I did a whole video about it on YouTube. Check it out. What I was thinking, why I did it. Basically, 9/11 hit as I was working on it. And I asked myself if I'm going to stop, if I'm going to respond to the atrocity with my art right away, or am I going to hold off, finish this book, and then do it. And at first I wanted to, I was itching to react to the atrocity, but I said, okay, look, I got a good story here. I want to finish this, and then, so while I was doing it, as I was working on it, I added some commentary about the attack. So I said, okay, let me give the audience a little taste of what my thoughts were in some kind of way through customers, the conversation, and then even also prior, right at the opening, he says fall 2001, and you see the Twin Towers as the L's. That was my thinking. And again, this ended up being the signature image, which is behind me as well. I walk into a crowded room, not a soul in sight. And again, that idea, I also discussed that as well. That idea is basically, we're individualists. I mean, well, people deny that about themselves, but we are individuals, right? And the less individualistic you are, the more collectivist you are. When you're in crowds, you start playing to the crowd. You start acting in different ways. You start pretending to say certain things you don't mean just for a laugh, just for this, that, right? And there's something about that. The more people, the less truth, the less sincerity, the less real is going on. And that was my thinking about that line. And it's in the opening of the book as well. It's the first image with the character on a rooftop writing. And in the original line, it's he walked into a crowded room, not a soul in sight. Thanks, Mike. Yeah, it is. It's available as a print, a T-shirt. Not yet. I have I don't know. I mean, my Teespring store, they knocked out my Muhammad cartoon T-shirt. They knocked out a few other things that they deemed was too far, but maybe for a T-shirt, it would work probably on a black T-shirt, because I don't think the rectangle worked just on a white one. I don't think so. I think a black T-shirt would blend completely, because if you notice the behind me, the character, he wears black shirt, so he completely blends within a background. And again, the idea is that we're individuals. The more people are around, the more people are acting, the more people are performing their characters of themselves, the less authentic. And that was my thinking. Again, it's like that's why one-on-one one-on-one conversations at least are the most honest ones. No one's fronting usually, at least usually, unless it's a pitch for something. If someone's looking for a job or whatever, I'm talking about individuals with their friends out for dinner or whatever, and just having these conversations. They're as authentic as can be. You put 2 or 3 more people in there, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, it goes all over the place. So yeah, but yeah, Mike, I do have that on my store. It's at the bottom of bossfalls.com. I walked through the crowd room, not a soul in sight. It's just it ended up being the signature image, whether I intended to or not. It didn't matter. I mean, things take a life of their own, right? It's like the one the cover for. I've had a few covers for my Pigman comics for issue 1, but the one where he's grabbing the jihadist who is actually Muhammad. It's a stealth Muhammad cartoon, but he's grabbing Muhammad by the beard with his pigskin leather gloves, right? He's pulling into him. That ended up being probably my most popular image years ago when I first created, almost 20 years ago now, which is crazy. But yeah, so thanks for being here, guys. I appreciate however limited it is. Hey, I always appreciate anyone chiming in. So thanks, guys. If you have any questions again about my work, why I do it, about my thoughts on comics, on movies, just ask away. Just let me know. I am Yoda Nuggets. Yes, I am. It is. I announced it a little while back, and a part of me is like, I almost don't want to, bring it up, but. Oh wow, thanks, Emerald Fat. Appreciate it. I've been trying to get rid of it, and I assume people would jump at it because it's just, it's well drawn, and it brings both my things, right? And Comicsgate and Trashcast and Muhammad cartooning into one. So thanks, appreciate it. I will send it out as soon as I can. That's yours. And anyone else? Okay. I'm adapting the Fountainhead, Ayn Rand's Fountainhead, into a graphic novel. And I'm almost reluctant to say, because I've been involved with a number of projects that have fell through. This one seems legit, seems as it's going really well. So if anyone's interested in that, it's something that's been a lifelong dream. But it's funny, when I was younger, I saw it as a animated movie for some reason, an animated film, right? The Fountainhead. Why? I think because the story is so alive, the characters are so alive that I saw them moving, right? But now I have an opportunity to actually draw them, to stylize them, and use Ayn Rand's descriptions as close as I can. Ultimately, it'll be my designs, but what she intended, I'm going to try to, rip Muhammad. Hey, Frog Tony. So if anyone's interested also in any other of my work, let me know. I got a number of these cartoons. I know that a few of you have bought some of my cartoons, my emoji. We need a Muhammad emoji. We really do. Angry, right? If we're angry about something, put emoji in there. Why not? So I do sell these original art. If anyone's interested, let me know. That, I got this Pigman, right? It's Pig Latin. East Pay, right? East Pay, Pig Latin. It's Pigman burying jihad, because that's when peace happens, right? And in Pig Latin, peace is East Pay. That's another, never mind. And again, for these drawings, the simple ones, not the comic book art, my comic book pages I sold for at least $350, if not more. I sold one for, my most expensive one was $10,000. Another one was $2,000. But if you guys want, like Muhammad, he's photobombing me. I could also draw. I offer Muhammad to photobomb anyone out there. You send me a picture. It's cheaper than my other art, and it's 8 by 10. So I will have a drawing of you, a cartoon of you with Muhammad who photobombs you. It's on my website, bossfalls.com. Check it out. Check it out when you can. Then this is very old. This is from art school. I did this one. Again, I'll go cheaper for this one because it's smaller. Just look at the execution. Superb. They're at a gallery, and the guy says, not quite. They hung it but forgot to bury it. as in they hung it. You know, they killed it, but forgot to bury it. That's my commentary on the shitty art world. Another Muhammad cartoon. I'ma kill me some infidels, yo. Did that. Greta Thunberg. I mean, this little bitch, she goes from quote unquote climate change to going for the vaccine, for the lockdowns, and now she's all for the jihadists in quote unquote Palestine. She's a mess, but she's wrong about everything. That's her mission, to be deadly wrong about everything. So this is her as Muhammad. And again, anyone can make offers here. For these drawings, I don't go for the larger ones. I don't go for less than 150. You guys want to, bid? That's cool. I got this also. Again, this is a triple. It's Muhammad, it's Louis Farrakhan, and Kanye West all rolled into one. Farrakhan, Muhammad. It's like, Bond, James Bond. He goes, Farrakhan, Muhammad Farrakhan. That's the idea. Yeah, I mean, Yoda Nuggets asks, how did you find out about Comicsgate? Known Ethan for a while? I've known Ethan. I mean, I've known his work for many years. I mean, I remember seeing Cyber Frog. I remember seeing him do, Green Lantern and all that. But Comicsgate itself, I used to hear it a number of years ago. It's the Pigman Warpaint 11 by 17. Pigman Warpaint. And that, again, is probably one of my... I'm working on something right now. I'm working on a campaign for a new edition, a CG edition, actually, a Comicsgate edition of Pigman. And been working on a video, getting it done, polishing it up. And it'll be different than the one that I've had for many years. It'll be a lot bigger, first of all. It's twice as big. And extra scenes, bonus material, but also expanded moments, scenes. I'm going to have some double page spreads, let's just say. Single page spread, double page spread, something to really make it a pig-sized edition. And I'll be releasing that soon, probably by next week. But the dimensions of the Pigman Warpaint print are 11 by 17. 11 by 17 AP 40 ounce. And that's a good one. That's another standout that people seem to really love. It's jihadist blood. That's what the war paint is on Pigman. It's let me show you the drawing quick. I'll show you what I mean, and then I'll answer a few more questions if you have. Yeah, that's the Pigman war paint image. It's jihadist blood. Grim, I remember someone said they called that beautiful. I think it's pretty funny, but he is my boy, so it's like, all right, I'll take it as a compliment, no doubt about it. But yeah, so thanks. Yeah, that's I mentioned it because it's on the back of issue 3 of Pigman, and it'll be, at least my intention is to be at the end of the campaign video that I'm releasing for Pigman 1. I hope that to be the final image, because I have, it's me discussing my Muslim background, why I reacted to 9/11 the way I did with my Pigman work and so on, right? And me trying to pitch it to new readers, to CG, mainly to a CG. But again, sorry, how about, 1 second. What are the dimensions? How did you find out? Yeah, so Yoda Nuggets. It was always on the periphery, right? Comicsgate. I never quite understood what it meant exactly. I was like, I think I know what it means. I think it's about canceled cartoons, but it's a little more than that. I mean, right? It's more about it's more political than people want to give it credit for. It's not just about quote unquote, entertainment, keep politics out. No, that's bullshit. Every single artist is an individual, right? With their own philosophy, with their own politics. They're going to imbue their stories with that. They're not going to leave that out. And whether subtle or like a hammer, it's in there. So the idea is that, okay, but it cannot only be leftist politics. That's disgusting. First of all, it's fundamentally dishonest to begin with, leftist politics. That's why when they dominate any kind of field, the field collapses because it's shit. Everything is dishonest. Everything is trying to push something that's just not true about reality, about people, right? About nature. So I'm open with my politics, with my philosophy, absolutely. It's as explicit as can be. Something too explicit, I don't give a shit. I'm dealing with war in my story. I'm dealing with a culture war. I'm dealing with a physical war, right? So I gotta hit all on all fronts. So about the Comicsgate, it's funny. I used to listen to Ethan and some others. I used to listen to the Phantom Menace as well, and I guess it happened to be that the release of Isom really outed them in a lot of ways, because they were promoting something, and then they still promoted it after it came out, after they knew it was shit, and it was like, oh, these guys are full of it. They're not about quality. They're about going after the libs, right? Owning the libs. That's what they're about. The quote-unquote libs are leftists. But the point is that they were not in it for any kind of true quality of entertainment. They weren't once that happened. And for me, I became a really avid watcher of Ethan after I think the end of last year or the beginning of this past year with Trashcast. Because that's when the gloves were off, right? We're dealing with bad guys in a field that we love, who are taking advantage of it. And you got to take that personally. You got to take that personally. And then also the little threats here and there, right? The night letter and so on. And then the idiot, Drunk Flash, Yellow Flask, betraying Ethan. And again, whatever they want to say about it, they can't say it was fair at all on his part, at all, of what he pulled, at all. So that's when it really hit for me. Trashcast was when, Ethan's show was when he did Trashcast, because then it was all out in the open, right? No more, talk about, what's the name? Eric July, as if he's a valuable comic book creator. First of all, it was presumptuous on his part to even do that, but I give him a chance. A lot of us gave him a chance, right? We all did. Many of us did. It's like, all right, this guy's been talking a good game against the shit comics that have been out. Maybe let's give him a shot. And you read the comic and you're like, oh, this is shit. And I didn't have any real presence online or anything. I wasn't even, I don't think, back on X, because I was banned a number of years ago. And my YouTube channel has been only there every so often when I have a new product. I released it, so I wasn't really on. So I didn't have anything to really talk about. I just looked at it and said, oh, wow, this is mediocre. I fell asleep during the reading of it at one point, and then I finished it. I was like, it's nothing, really. And then when I saw Ethan, and I remember Ethan saying, he was promoting it, pushing it, and he said it was good. And when I read it, I was like, this is not good. And then I saw his, final review, the honest review. I was like, okay, good. I'm on board with that. And I get, people call him on it. You're a liar. You said this. I get the fact that from his perspective, at least at that point, he was trying to be, the father of the movement in a lot of ways. All right, it looks like a comic. It's professional. Keep going, right? Encouraging, right? You can't do that, especially with bad actors. And these are bad actors. So, it's a Pigment War Paint 11/17. I'm going through the question now. I think, Greta is, she's an adult now. She is. She's not this kid anymore that they try to push on us as some kind of expert on climate change, which is so stupid. They reject all other kids for any other thing, right? But this one we're supposed to take seriously. Why? And she's also, it's interesting, I think her parents were in the entertainment field. Her mother is, I think, pretty good looking from what I remember. And Greta didn't turn out that way, so they're like, shit, we can't sell her as some kind of movie star, so let's just try to push her as some activist. So they were stuck with this strange kid, and they gave her whatever she wanted. Okay, just go after all these things that we say are bad. Okay. Okay. A more fat 40-ounce September of last year is when I entered comics. Okay, I see. Now, in a sense, you could argue I've always been part of Comics in that sense, right? Let me show you the statuette, Amoral Fat. Let me show you 1 second. Because, but I've been pre-canceled. I never had a shot at these entertainment companies. I never, Marvel, DC, I had a foot in the door to some extent. Joke, Asada, was interested because he saw the image behind me. I walked through the card room, Nato Sensei goes, what else you got? I said, I got a whole book about that, 81 pages. He goes, send it. I did send it. It got in the hands of his assistant because he was sick. It got in the hands of Axel Alonso, a piece of shit. So 100% I can see him throwing it in the garbage because while it wasn't as explicit as my pigman work, it was clearly on the right, clearly. A criticism of the left and so on, right? So last year when I entered conversation, let me just get it. 1 second. I'm getting the pigman now. Yeah, here's my pigman, my statuette. And they really did a great job, these guys. They really did. I gave them all different angles, right? From the front, from the back, from every single area. And what they did was they brought it back and they changed it. They made the eyes bigger. I said, no, please. I said, stick to my design. That's what I want. I try to make some of myself. I couldn't really do it. For some reason, that's not my forte. Maybe if I practice enough, I might be able to do something like that. But then they took my, that's his symbol, right? Perfect. The color's perfect. Now, again, someone said, that's grotesque. Look at the color. It's orange. That's the color of pigskin when it's tanned, when it's pigskin leather. Initially, I had this drawing where he's pink. I'm like, that's impossible. How the hell am I going to have... I don't like pink. I never wear pink. I would never have my superhero dressed in pink, right? Because it looks like a pig. No. So it was like a revelation, like a eureka moment. I said, of course, pigskin leather. Pigskin leather gloves, work boots, right? And it has a nice color. And also, I'm a redhead and my character's redhead. It also connected him and his fictional creator, which is my stand-in in the comic, Killian Duke, albeit in Muslim background. And the eyes, if you look at it, a little Spider-Man, right? A little Spider-Man, the shape of it. The animalistic lines, almost Wolverine style. The ears, very, very short, like the Dark Knight. And then the symbol, again, if you don't know, it's basically September 11th, right? And then also 9/11, if you see it, and also 93, a 9 there, a 3 there, because of the two dents, to say that the towers were hit twice, and 1993 and 2001, and Flight 93 as well. So that was my thing. I wanted to combine it all, but make it as simple as possible. And then, of course, he's a capitalist pig, right? $sign. And then the classic Superman, the S, right? The S. So it worked for me. It really did. But yeah, so this is my pigman statuette. People have expressed interest, but it's very expensive. And if there's a lot of interest, absolutely. Maybe, if the campaign goes well, who knows? Maybe I can do... let me get one more thing. Wait a second, guys. Maybe as one of the tiers, maybe if it goes well, my pigman campaign, a smaller one, which I have on my desk. It's cool. They changed a little here from there to there. They made it purple there, like a dark color, and then that. And it's not as rich, clearly, but it's pretty cool, and it's cheaper. So maybe one day, if there's interest, if the campaign goes well, who knows? I'd love to see a pigman action figure. There was a company that was interested, right? But I had to fight with the guy because I said, well, pigman needs a gut. He goes, no, we can't do that. I said, why not? I said, just give him a gut. And he wouldn't do it. My cunt says I was pretty retarded until I was about 25. Aren't we all? Even just be calmed down at 25. That's why I never hated. Yeah. Thanks, Immortal Fat. It's so cool. It's just, I was so pleased with it because again, I designed it, right? I gave them the back angle, a drawing, the profile, a quarter angle, the front, right? And they changed it. I don't know why they did that. They made the eyes bigger. They made the face a little less. I don't know. And I said, no, 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 no. Just stick to the thing. And they did stick to it. And it's exactly as I intended, which is awesome. It's awesome. So yeah, does he throw pigskin footballs at his enemies? He doesn't, but he has pigskin leather gloves, pigskin leather belt, which he sometimes takes off and whips them, pigskin leather boots, and a pigskin leather mask. And again, I remember your boy Zach trashed Pigman just by the name, right? Oh, that's stupid. And it's like, yeah, I didn't like that. I'd rather hear that, be given a chance for something like that. But it's not as silly as you think when you understand Islam. Not only is there Islamic bigotry, it's serious to the point where Muslims will lose their shit if they find out that they even swallowed any kind of pork in any capacity, through a cake with a little lard or whatever. Something. They lose their shit. So I said, okay, I'm going to use that. I'm going to exploit the Islamic enemy's bigotry, and have a ex-Muslim knowing that, right, using their language against them, using their ideology against them, their religion against them, and have my force of nature of an anti-child superhero wrapped in pigskin leather. So when he touches them, this is why when they find out about him, right, after a while, they don't refer to him as Pigman. They can't even say the word pig. They refer to him as the beast. They don't even say the word pig, right? And they start killing themselves when he's around. They slit their throats. They blow their heads off. So it gets a little extreme at that point. Could it also mean twins? Yeah, one good, one bad. Yeah, it can. And again, there's a lot of dualism in the issue 2 cover. If you notice, I have the twin brothers, and the both brothers. They are twins, right? But one of them has blue eyes. One of them has green. The one with the blue eyes, he's red hair, white skin, blue eyes, red, white, and blue, right? The other one has green eyes. Green in my story is the color of evil. It's Muhammad is his favorite color, green, right? So whenever you see green, something bad's about to happen, something bad's around. It's always green on the villains in there. The literal sky is green when the Pigman is in Saudi Arabia, when he has his first battle with Super Jihad. So yeah, it can mean a lot of things. Yeah, the duality, because again, and then plus the Albanian flag, right, where my parents are from, they were Albanian Muslims. It's the two-headed eagle, right? The twin-headed eagle. I got the twin towers behind them, twin-headed eagle, the twin brothers on the cover, and then I have the twin stories, Super Jihad and Pigman, within the shadows of the cover. Let me show you quick. I'll show you the cover here. Give me 1 second, and I'll show you what I mean. Because yeah, I was thinking in terms of duality, deceptiveness, that the enemy always engages in. They never, ever tell the truth. It's their thing, right? Like leftists. Communists and leftists are very, very similar. And to me, communists are as religious as Muslims. They are, in a sense where they're irrational. Okay, so that's the cover I was talking about. That's Pigman issue 2, right? Issue 2 has the twin brothers, the twin towers behind them. You can't see it here, but I got the outline of the twin towers, the twin eagle, the double-headed eagle, right, for the Albanian flag. And then within Killian and his brother, you see the shadows of Pigman and Super Jihad. And it's, of course, issue 2 with all these double takes, right? And it's also a double story in there as well. It's 2 stories in one. And again, I'll be pitching it. I'll be launching the campaign for CG, hopefully on Indiegogo. If they reject it, they reject it. What am I going to do? But hopefully they don't reject it, and it'll be a big fat version of issue 1. If that goes well, issue 2, which will be issue 3 right now, and then issue 3, 4, probably 4 issues that'll be over 200 pages altogether, because I'm going to combine issue 1 and 2 for CG issue 1 Pigman. I'm going to do that with some added material as well, different cover as well, brand new cover, maybe even 2 covers. Let's see. But I'm going to be launching that. I got the video, my launch video down. It was a shoot that I did a friend offered to do it, and it was really, really kind of him. And I had to drive out and spent a day there, a long afternoon. And the video ended up being 20 minutes. I was like, well, we got to break it down. So I brought it down. My friend brought it down to about a minute. And it's tight. I'm very happy with it. Added some music to it. And then my friend's going to put some overlays on it of pigment images to emphasize what I'm saying. I'm basically introducing myself to CG as if you guys never heard of me. And a lot of you haven't still. So this is all new to me, right? Again, I've been a loner for so long. I've always been reluctant to join any kind of group. But hell, when Ethan, he was with Paul Revoch on one episode of Trashcast months ago. I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago. And he had an open call. He goes, "Hey guys, any cartoons want to come on here? Let me know." Let him know right away. He goes, "Okay." That's the only guy in that whole crew who would have had me on. I'm not talking about the CG. I'm talking about the YouTube crew. The other guys, they know about my comics from Nerdrotic and Rip and all of that. They know about my comics. I try to send them out to them. I never heard back from them ever. The only one who was decent about it was Critical Drinker, who said, "Look, man, thank you, but I'm a little too busy." I get it. The old ones never responded, and I know that they got it literally in their hands. I know that, Nerdrotic and the old guys have it in their hands, and these guys are full of it. Because again, you love comics, right? You love free speech, right? Allegedly. Hey, why not have me on, Ethan didn't give a shit. That's the difference. This guy's got balls. That's the difference. So I appreciate the hell out of it. And the other Kings for embracing me. I mean, they, I don't think people want the heat that I get. I don't think so. I mean, I never wanted it either. I mean, personally speaking, I wanted to write and draw superhero comics, mainstream superhero comics, right? 9/11 hits. I'm like, I have to respond to this. And again, probably my Muslim background was the key factor. If I didn't have my Muslim background, would I have responded the way I did? No, not in the way that I did. I could have responded, but not in the way that I did. Not with getting to the core of the issue. Not with dealing with Islam itself, not just jihad. Because Frank Miller took on jihad to an extent, even though it was half-assed. He took on Al-Qaeda, specifically Al-Qaeda, right? In Empire City, a stand-in for Gotham City, because it was originally a Batman story. But he didn't go after Islam per se. He even had a false quote of Muhammad, which was, I was like, what? Stick a pencil sharpener inside. Transylvanian Jack. Glad to hear. Thanks. That's the mark of a good design. Every part of the outfit as a story. Absolutely. And then he also has, Pigman also has on his right shoulder, the Pentagon. It's an outline of the Pentagon with a scar on it. And then in one image that I did, it was 184 people. I don't give a shit if anyone, the military industrial complex, there were human beings who died in there, Americans working for the good fight against our enemies. It's horrific what happened, even at the Pentagon. I mean, I don't give a shit what you think about Washington and whatnot. It's a terrible atrocity that happened there. So he acknowledges it as well. It's not just the Twin Towers. That's the popular one, right? But then he got Flight 93 on his chest as well. A little, acknowledgement of that. So there's a Pentagon on his shoulder as well. And then, of course, the American flag, on his belt buckle, right? The big, fat American flag. And it's not just there for looks. You'll find out in issue 2. And he has that big, Payson leather belt, which, is one image in Propaganda, which I still have copies of it, by the way. I found a whole box full of those. So if anyone wants to check out my website, boxfalls.com, check it out. It's the first print edition. It's the first Pigman in print for the first time ever in Propaganda 2009. It was a collection of a lot of images that I did from 2004 to 2008 or 9 that I put together. And there's one image of him. It's like a poster book. It's like a propaganda book, Propaganda, right? And it's an image of him with his belt. And it's all bloody, and he calls whipping jihad because he, sometimes takes that belt. And he also takes a Quran, sometimes a hardcover Quran, and beats them to death with it. So, Zach also praised Isom. Yeah, I believe, if I remember correctly. Mike says he did a written review, not a video, and didn't even say what the plot was. He knows it sucks. Yeah, it's sad because it should have been just, right out of the gate, should have been just criticized because it sucked. It flat out sucked. And you knew it sucked. Oh shit. Amoral fat, 40 ounces. Oh crap, my laptop keyboard is lit up green. I need to change it to blue. Come on, man. Come on. What are you, Muslim? What a jihadist? But yeah, look, I love the color green. It's great. In my story, it's the color of evil. In my story, that's whatever. Whenever you see green, it's like, oh shit, okay, trouble's coming. Trouble is, again, it's Muhammad is his favorite color. Yeah, Yoda Nugget says if Indiegogo rejects it, you can always use fund my comic. Yeah, I mean, I'll find out. I mean, I do have a website. I can even create something along there. Like I think Shane Davis has that as well. I think Ripaverse has that where you can directly, if I have to. I'd rather do it on Indiegogo though. I mean, that's what everyone else doing there. Everyone seems pleased with it. The 6%, hey, that's fine. You get more eyeballs in it. Why not? I want to give this the biggest shot it possibly can. I want to really put a spotlight on this work that's been out. And again, I'm gonna, look over it and see what I can improve, see what I can change, see what I can muscle up, really make it, give a little more muscle in there, and a few, again, added moments, added scenes, a few visuals, double page spread, maybe. That's what I'm thinking. Splash pages and whatnot. Just a little more, I guess, just to make it better. As simple, just to make it better. The idea of, Mike Hunt says, the idea of CG is that it's a movement rather than a group. I'd not put CG on a book, though, due to EVS owning the copyright. I'm going to ask him. I mean, I can mention him. It could be just a CG on there, just, a CG edition, or not. We'll see. Mike, man, you're evil. You got green eyes. I mean, that's it. Again, love the color green. Okay, and there's, I have a few reasons why, but in my story, it's the color of evil. In my story. Amoral Fat 40 on says, just an idea, take or leave it. When Indiegogo campaign goes up, raise the price on the original Pigman books you already have and put them on the campaign as a secondary perk. Yeah, I think so too. Appreciate it. Yeah, good idea. Definitely. Those are the original, copies, the original prints. They've been around for a long time. Yep, Transylvania's Jack, the zeros aren't for free speech after all. Absolutely not. They're not. They really aren't. They dare to wonder. Glad you're here. I don't think I've seen you on here. But yeah, guys, thanks for being here. If you're interested in any of my original art, let me know. I got some here. Immortal Fat 40 ounce idea when Indigo goes up, raise the price on the original Pigman books, as a secondary perk. I think so too, yeah. I still got copies. Actually, I'm getting new copies because I ran out of copies a few times actually in the last month or two, which is good. I mean, you always want to do that, right? And so when I get my last batch, I'll probably do that. But again, yeah, you're right. Maybe about the CG thing, I'll ask Ethan. If he says no, that's fine. I'll just mention it that it's a CG edition at least. Sold the Traveling Sea. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. So yeah, guys, if you want to bid on any of these cartoons, let me know. It's my triple Muhammad cartoon. It's fun. It's Kanye West, Louis Farrakhan, and Muhammad. Like Bond, James Bond. It's Farrakhan, Muhammad Farrakhan. Greta Thunberg as Muhammad. If you guys are interested, I don't go for $150. I don't go for less than $150 for my single drawings. I just can't do that. For my comic pages, it's a lot more, $350 at least. But these for $150, about. And then sometimes people, have a little bidding war. So that's up to you guys. Muhammad as a rapper. I'ma kill me some infidels, yo. Shit. Dear Duana, don't tell the Irish about green being for baddies. Yeah, well, in my story, that's the thing. It's Muhammad's favorite color, right? So I was like, okay, good. I'm gonna wrap my villain in that super jihad. He wears green, right? He also has the gold letters that are wrapped around the Kaaba, around his neck, around his wrists, and I think on his belt. And he has the crescent, which is the Islamic crescent, right? With the half moon, with the quarter moon, and the star. This is another drawing I did. It's again, you guys can offer cheaper for something like this because it's smaller. It's an older cartoon about the art world. I just sold my Ribba Muhammad. Thanks. Appreciate it. And I do these as well. These are the Photobomb Muhammad cartoons where you can order it. It's on my website, bossfawson.com. Go to the store and scroll down for a bit, and you'll see it. I have like 5 or 6 different examples of people who sent me their pictures. I drew them in front with Muhammad dancing or doing something stupid or even with a sword threatening the person. So check it out. It's a photobomb offer. I also, for those, it's more expensive. It's $500, but that's the least I can charge. It's for a recreation of my Winnie Muhammad cartoon that ended up 2 jihadists came to kill us at the event. 20 minutes after my speech, after I was announced as winner, they tried to kill us, and they got their heads blown off. But yeah, the Woker. That's available as well if anyone's interested. So that cartoon, I almost died for it, so I figure I'm gonna charge a little more for that. So it's $500. It's on my store. It's a recreation. I have 8 left. It was 8 of 20. I sold 12. There's 8 left, where I redraw it. It's an original drawing of my Winnie Muhammad cartoon, and I sign it, and number it. So the next one will be 8 of 20. This is Pigman. Speaking in Pig Latin, Eastpay is our piece, because peace would be the burial of jihad. Then he can go home, right? Drawing Muhammad emoji, if anyone's interested. Muhammad emoji. And I got more. I got a number of things here. Let me know. Let me know if you're interested. This is a funny one. It has nothing to do with anything besides politics, but remember that piece of shit James Comey, the head of the FBI, years ago? He was at a speech in a college in, I think, Boston. And he's delivering the speech, and he's telling, very arrogantly, he's telling the students, you guys are stuck with me for a number of years, for a lot longer, right? And he's telling them, you're stuck with me. Behind him, on the television, there was news of him being fired. That's hilarious to me. He's such a piece of shit. That's exactly what he deserves. So I turned Comey into comedy. Added the D to his name. And this is funny. It was so hilarious. I remember when that news hit, it was really funny. That's right. The only good thing about Islam is no drugs. True, even though there are a number of drug addicts in Islam, I know firsthand, cousins of mine consider themselves Muslims and do drugs and even sell drugs. But yeah. But then again, the religion itself is a drug. I mean, in a lot of ways, right? You fly in planes into buildings, you got to be hopped up on something crazy to do that. I don't know, dare to want to. I don't know if Muhammad actually existed, because there were books who were proving the opposite, right? That he did exist, but it doesn't matter ultimately, because Muslims, and especially jihadists, believe he did. So that's all that matters. Whether he existed or not, you think they'll be talked out of it if you prove it to them even? No. They didn't get to their position through reason, so they can't be argued out of it through reason. It's all emotion. It really is. It's all emotion. No reason there whatsoever. Here's another one. Jussie Smollett, original drawing. Belive. Darth Muhammad. The most oppressed in minority is the individual, 100%. The most oppressed in minority is the individual, 100%. In society, historically, yep. That's why when people speak about women's rights, black rights, gay rights, like no, it's individual rights. We're all individuals, no matter what we are. It should be a case closed at individual rights. But the left, of course, wants to separate everyone, right? For political reasons, for voting reasons. Period. You want to get these voting blocks. They want to lock them up, right? They don't believe in the individual, and that's why I resent anyone who tries to talk up that piece of shit Nick Fuentes and Richard Spencer. Those are piece of shit leftists. I don't give a shit what anyone says. They're not. They're right wing. They support Trump. First of all, they don't. The piece of shit Richard Spencer voted for Biden, made a big deal about it, right? And now you don't see him anywhere. The media stopped promoting him. The media try to make him famous. right? And the media, Nick Fuentes just called Trump a threat, right? You're an objectivist, Mike Hunt? I'm an objectivist. Are you? Interesting. After I left Islam, I was up in the air with where I was, but I know I wanted to follow, the truth to wherever it led, and I ended up reading Ayn Rand's Fountainhead. That was it. Fell in love with it. Fell in love with the ideas, and it just made perfect sense to me. And if I break it down, it's as simple as this. It's a matter of, seeing things as they are. This is a simplest way. Seeing things as they are, not better, not worse, as they are, and following the truth to wherever it leads. And not being a cynic, meaning if things are bad, well, give up. No. But you cannot change things unless you can see them as they are. You can't improve things. Just got a phonograph novel. Cheers. Thank you. I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Thank you. It's my first book. Proud of it. Nominated for an Eisner and, Russ Manning Most Promising Newcomer Award. This is the book. If anyone wants any more copies, check it out. It's 81 pages. 81 pages. Written, penciled, inked, and lettered by me. Everything was hand lettered. I also sell original art of this as well. They're they are 14 by 17. Okay, so thanks again, Salty Traveling. See, appreciate it. Thank you. Dare to Wonder says, I work as a security guy. Drugs are awful. Absolutely, they are, no doubt. Terrible. I mean, I don't do drugs. I took some years ago, but it just, that was that. It was like, okay, I know what it is. I know I don't want it. I smoked for a number of years also. I enjoyed that. I did enjoy smoking. I really did. But I stopped that cold turkey at a certain point. I was like, I want to live to be 100. So Mike says, I'm 80% objectivist. I like to leave room. The usefulness of a cup is in its emptiness. Yeah. Look, man, the philosophy is sound. The philosophy is sound. From our novels to our nonfiction books, right? The movement's up in the air. I follow the most honest individuals within objectivism as the objectivists that I admire most. The most honest among them. The most intellectually honest. Because I'll tell you one thing. Those who are calling Trump an existential threat to reality, those who are voting for Kamala Harris, to me, they're not objectivists. They're voting for whatever criticism you might have against Trump. You don't have criticism against the communists who are puppeteering these candidates like Biden and Kamala Harris. Okay, dare to wonder. Awesome. Me too. Again, I left Islam, and people say, why didn't you go to religion? I said, well, when I left Islam, I left religion. I left everything. I didn't leave truth. I didn't leave, good or morality. I believe in good, absolutely. I believe in, being moral, absolutely. But again, it's that's why I also resent when some religionists say that Islam is not a religion, and they say it very angrily, right? Islam is not a religion. It's like, it is a religion. You got to get comfortable with the fact that some religions can be evil. You have to, and a lot of them don't. And also, I resent when some objectivists condemn Christianity and Judaism by name, right? Christianity and Judaism are evil, and then say Islamic totalitarianism is evil. It's like, which one is it? Are we talking about Christianity or Christian totalitarianism or Jewish totalitarianism? I don't get it. It's such fear around the issue. It's really frustrating. Dare to Wonder, it was nominated for an Eisner when an Eisner meant something. Yeah, I appreciate it. It was 2005. 2005, I was nominated. It was my first book, right out of the gate. Alex Toth, not my favorite. He's, to me, objectively the greatest comic book artist of all time, and I will fight anyone over that. I have a 18-part video series on my YouTube channel, Box Foston, on Alex Toth. I'm building the case. So check it out. If you haven't, check it out. Okay, Dare to Wonder says, what do you think about the death of Ed Piskor? Now, Ed Piskor, didn't like him, didn't like his art. He was an asshole in his videos and dismissive. I sent Ed Piskor and Jim Rugg my comics a few years ago, and hoping that they would, I knew Jim Rugg also at conventions. I may have even come across Piscor years ago. I was a regular at SPX, at the Small Press Expos. I was also a regular at the Comic-Con in San Diego. I had booths there. It was great. I loved it. I loved being part of these conventions until, I started doing Pigman, started drawing Muhammad, persona non grata, right? Anyway, prior to that, when I had Table for One, I knew Jim Rugg. I bought his, what was it? What was the girl on the skateboard? It's fun, cute. It was a girl fighting crime. Street Angel. It was a fun comic, and really well done, really well drawn. So I knew of Jim and probably Episcope. Anyway, I watched their videos, and after a while, I was like, I don't like their attitude about this stuff, and also the comic books about rap world. It's like it's such a pose, and also with his sunglasses and all that. Whatever, I don't know. Anyway, my point is I wasn't crazy about him. So when I heard that the Savages, went after him as hard as it did, whether it was something true to it, he gave credence to the possibility that it was true by taking himself out. And he took himself out. I don't like when I hear your boy Zach say that they murdered him. It's like, they murdered him? That kind of language. That takes out the individual motive. That takes out the his volition. It takes out his free will when you say that. They didn't murder him. Now, he had the pressure on, as a lot of us do, right? And he chose the quickest way out to deal with that kind of pressure. Terrible. It's a tragedy, regardless, whatever I think about it, whatever anyone else thinks about it. But the fact is, he took himself out. He couldn't deal with it. And the fact that he took himself out, was there something to it? Were his intentions to go with underage girls? I don't know. The fact is, he just, I think within a week, he took himself out. And his good friend, Jim Rugg, dissociated himself from him to save his ass. And I heard he was at the funeral and he was with a family. I don't get that. It's like, wait a minute. You didn't stand by our son in his time of need. Maybe that was the little string that he needed. That little moment. Say, hey, I know you're okay. I've been with you for years now. You're my friend. I'm with you till the end. He didn't do that. Did he think something was going on? I don't know. So it's a messy issue, but the point is, the rats who went after him are rats. Absolutely, there's no doubt about it. And I didn't like him personally. I didn't like his art. I didn't like his attitude about it. I didn't. And also, they dismissed me. They didn't even do me the decency of saying, hey, we don't like your politics and we're not going to review your stuff. At least tell me that. But I did send him that. And I sent him a letter also. Maybe it was a letter at the time, because he kept calling himself, what do you call himself? Outlaw cartoonist, right? Outlaw comics. I'm like, Ed, please. In the letter, I said, if you guys can, check us out, you might like it, but please don't talk to me about outlaw comics. I said, until you draw Muhammad, you're not an outlaw cartoonist. I don't give a shit what you write, what you draw, any kind of nudity, any kind of gore. Please, that's old. EC comics, that's old stuff. Don't pretend it's something revolutionary. It's not. Draw Muhammad, and then we can start talking about you being an outlaw cartoonist. And he was all for that crowd also. He's leftist, right? It's a mess, but the fact is, he took himself out. He wasn't murdered. The rats came after him, absolutely. He just didn't have the strength to... And also one thing, it's not end-all, be-all. Now, for me, comics it's my life. It's what I've dedicated my life to. Comic books. It is. I love comics. And I'm not going to diminish it and say, well, it's just part of my life. It's a major factor of my life, right? I was almost murdered for my work. So it means everything to me, right? But Ed Piscor decided that it wasn't the comics that meant everything to him. It was his social position within comics that meant everything to him. That was, I think, what he couldn't get over. Not the fact that he loves comics and therefore I can't make comics. He can make comics until the end of days. He could have made them. He could have crowdfunded, right? He could have, if he was honest, could have became part of CG. Said, you know what, fuck it. I was canceled, so let me be part of this group that's been canceled. And let's see what we have in common, whatever, right? Instead, he just went right for the kill, take himself out. And again, I think it was the fact that he wasn't part of the acceptable group anymore. That's, I think, when he did himself in. It's ugly, very ugly. So I got a lot of thoughts on it. Clearly, I haven't discussed it really. I don't know. I think I tweeted about it at the time because I was a little pushing back on the idea that he was murdered. No. He killed himself. He pulled the trigger. He's the one who actually did it. He did it. Okay. However, he went out. But what I'm saying is, he, by his hand, doesn't matter what anyone wants to do to you. You don't take yourself out. It doesn't matter how anyone vilifies you. I've been vilified to death. Look at Trump. He doesn't take himself out. Trump can say, like, oh my God, they're trying to kill me now. You know what? I'm going to take myself out. I'm reviled in this world. No, you keep moving. Life is to live, right? So it's a mess. It's a mess. But again, I'm not going to pretend I ever liked him. I didn't pretend I liked him after the fact either. No, I never liked him before. I didn't like him after. I just think that he shouldn't have done that. And they shouldn't have went after him the way they did because there was no proof about anything. Did I go out for a second, guys? I think I may have. It looks like I'm back, but I saw something. It said start. Did it say that because of the timing of it? I don't know. I hope not. I guess I'm still going. It looks like I'm still going. If you could let me know. Appreciate it, guys. Because it looks like I went out. I want to make sure I'm still on. It looks like I'm on, but anyway. Let me get to a few more questions. And thanks for chiming in, guys. I do always appreciate it. Always appreciate it. Thank you. Let me get a little water. 1 second. So that was a long take on Ed Piskor. I hope you understood what I meant and what I was coming from. If you have any more follow-ups, let me know. Mike Hunt says, objectivist philosophy is what led to books like Body by Science, the only exercise book worth reading. The book, okay, you're talking about Mike Metzer, right? I believe so. The only exercise book worth reading. The book has citations for its crazy claims. Okay. Mike Hunt said Ed Piskor could have gone to Comicsgate instead of topping himself. That's the thing. That would have been an option, right? It's like, who gives a shit if you don't like these guys? Like, believe me, do you think Ethan would have said, fuck you, get out of here, I don't like your piece of shit? You know, you might not even have liked his work, but it's like, okay, let's see what you got to say. Have him on at least, right? Have him on Trashcast and talk. You know, come on, Ed. What do you got to say about this? Do you understand now that your crowd has been evil and trying to push people out of comics? You know, and even if they intend, let's just say, even if their intentions were to have him kill himself, you don't follow through on that. You don't give them that kind of win. That's a massive victory. And those people should be named and shamed. They should, for going after him without any kind of proof. But Mike Hunt says, yeah, the girl was 17. The way people hated Piskor made me think she was like 10. Yeah. And again, it was just him being a nerd, probably not having relationships. Who knows? He was an ugly guy. Maybe he couldn't get girls. Who knows? But she was loving his art. Used that as a way in. Maybe he abused his position as some people do, like Warren Ellis. He was an ugly guy, man. Fat, ugly, bearded, walked with a cane. I think he was in his 30s. He looked like he was in his 50s at a certain point. Now he's probably in his 50s or 60s. But he took advantage of his position as well. Someone said about Paul McCartney, a cartoon. 1 second. Let me go back. Okay, how about Mike Hunt said, how about Paul McCartney as Muhammad singing She Was Only 17, if you know what I mean? Yeah. Hey, I have, let me show you 1 second. I have trading cards on Aisha. I have trading cards on, one trading card at least, on Muhammad's favorite wife, right? Aisha. 1 second, guys. I guess it's still going on. I don't know what's going on here. It looks like it. Anyway, I have Muhammad trading cards, right? That's my first one, like a baseball card. And then on back, you got the stats, and you got these original drawings of Muhammad. They're all original drawings, exclusive drawings, right? And then I have quotes from Muhammad. I have been made victorious with terror. Another one here. You can get them at my store as well. I got Pigman and Muhammad rolling up on him. And in back, you see Muhammad and Pigman hovering over him. This, he says, don't you dare buy this card. So he's threatening you to not buy the card. What do you got to do? You got to buy it, guys. Come on. Help me out here. And then this is my Muhammad and Aisha trading card. I call it the rarest trading cards in history. You think that's an exaggeration? No, it's not. They truly are the most rare trading cards in history ever. You got a little glare here, but again, I have it in the individual sleeves, right? In the plastic sleeves, and then in this hard topper, I think they call it. So that's what I do. When you guys order, you guys get it very, very securely. So this is my Aisha, and you see the wedding rings, the difference in size. She has a doll with her as well. She was 6 years old. She was 6 years old when he married her, and she was 9 when he raped her. So, and then on the back, it's her small head within his head, And he called her my favorite wife. Why do you think he called his very, very young wife? Because she was the most submissive. That's why. Anyway, so I got this one where Muhammad gets revenge, right? He goes, take that, Faustin. He goes, I drew you and me, dummy. He's like, oh, shit. Muhammad's short-lived revenge. I got a movie card. Danny DeVito is Muhammad. I got Trans Muhammad. He goes, men make the best women. I got Ho Muhammad card. It's my pride card that the left never shared in Pride Month. I don't know why. They never shared this. And then you got Muhammad there who's reacting to something happening off image. You got for the 10th my 10th Muhammad card, I put an X card, right? 10X. I put Elon Musk, Muhammad Musk. The swords are an X. His turban is an X. And then his fingers are made out to be an X. I have a birthday card. Muhammad wish me happy birthday, Mr. Faustin. He's faking a smile, but what he really wants is my death day. This is Muhammad trading card number 0, and then I got my Winnie Muhammad cartoon. And on the back, you hear about the story. The whole story about the cartoon and the shooting and the jihadists got killed and so on. Got my Pigman trading card, Pigman number 1 trading card. And then I got Pigman number 2 trading card. So check them out in my store if you're interested. I got them all in stock. And again, those who've ordered Pigman comics, apologize. There's a little delay. I got to get those back. I sold out of them right out of the gate. Also, I have Muhammad playing cards as well. You can see, I have a video showcasing all the cards and all of the playing cards as well. So let me go through some more of these questions. Someone mentioned here, 1 second, guys. I'm going to go through them all. If you're still here, cool. Apologize, but I will get to them 1 second. Okay, McCartney, yeah. 21 as a kid, if she still believed behaving like that at 26, then I'd have a problem, yeah. I get it, Mike. At the same time, she's a puppet of leftists. Greta Thunberg absolutely is. But at this age, she also has to take some responsibility for what's coming out of her mouth. She really should back it up with some kind of, knowledge. Some September last year is when I entered comments. Okay. Mike says, Dick Masterson does Islamic calls to prayer, ranting about Pokemon on his show. You'd be a great guest. We follow each other on X. Who knows? We'll see. I wonder what the situation is with Dick Masterson and Vito. I don't know. Doesn't look too good, but we'll see. Anyway, I'll go for a few more of these questions, and then if anyone wants to offer any, anyone wants to buy any of the original art, let me know. Okay. I don't think it went out. Thanks, Immoral Fat. Else the girl herself said she did not groom her. Okay. Piss score. Okay. Peas in a pod. Huh. She was 17. Okay, yes. So Dare to Wonder says also the girl herself said she'd not. Yes, I believe she did come out. One of them was trying to say something that one of them posed for him. It's like, yeah, you're a grown woman, you're an adult. You can pose for an artist, like a life drawing, right? You can do that. What's the problem? Thanks, guys. Thanks, let me know. Appreciate it. Digital Jihad, that's right. Dare to Wonder say Ed's career was destroyed, though. At least the way he has built it reminds me of Gil Wynand. Yeah, I mean, that's a tough call. I love Gil Wynand. I love that character. I mean, what a, arguably one of the greatest tragic characters in fiction. I mean, arguably. A great character, flawed as hell, absolutely. Villainous at times, no doubt about it. Especially going after individuals who he thought had integrity. If he could destroy them, and it's interesting, right? He went after guys who had integrity, right? Whether they did or not. If they presumed to have integrity, he went after them hard and destroyed them, right? But you couldn't really destroy men of integrity, no matter how hard you try. You can't make them sell out because they wouldn't sell out, right? They removed the word jihad from the new Dune movies. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Indeed, they did. Dune is dumb, Water says. Amoral fat 40 ounce. To not have self-preservation even when the chips are down is to me unconscionable. Absolutely. That's the thing, you do go down swinging, right? Life is to be lived. I mean, life is to be lived, and you have it still. The guy was, 40 years old? 41, maybe? He had a lot of years left. If he actually loved his life and loved his comics. But again, I believe it was the social issue for him. I believe it. He wasn't accepted in his tribe anymore, right? And left his tribe, right? And on what grounds? Because they accused him of being something that maybe he wasn't, right? But he couldn't deal with it. The guy clearly had a low level of self-esteem, and that just did him in. But ultimately, he did himself in. Ultimately. Dare to Wonder says, no, Doug McCoog wrote Body of Science. Okay. Right. I think he was referring to Mike Metzer, though, in a different aspect. And John Little. Yeah, John Little. John Little, didn't he also write books about Bruce Lee? Wasn't he also involved with some Bruce Lee movies? If I'm not mistaken, Bruce Lee biography as well? Question, okay. Salty Traveling Sea. What is your next project, and have you considered a 6 to 10 issue story arc? I'd love to see you do a Sword and Sorcery series. I like Sword and Sorcery. I love Conan. That's the only current comic book that I regularly buy. Especially when Roberto Delator draws it. He's extraordinary. He's like John Buscema with a little more flair, a little more... Because John Buscema, when he inked his work, to me, was his best inker. This guy is, I wouldn't say he's better than John Buscema, but in some aspects he is, with the modern coloring, the modern publishing and printing, and it just looks more appealing. And not the overworked quality of some of the inkers that inked John Buscema, because some of those guys really overdid it. I mean, really overdid it, some of those inkers. Especially in particular, the Spanish inkers overdid it. But my next project is my current one, adapting the Fountainhead into a graphic novel. That's what I'm doing. And I'll be able to show a certain amount pretty soon. I've been knee-deep into it. And I've had to edit. I was working on the script. Good script. Very happy with it. Drew 70, 80 pages. And then had to edit for reasons I can get into at a certain point. I had to edit it. And it's been very tough. Very tough to edit it because I was very pleased with it as it was. But as I'm going through it, I'm like, okay, I think I can get rid of this. I think I can cut this down. I think I can trim this scene and so on. So that's what I've been doing. So it is a Fountainhead. And again, a sorcery book, I don't know, maybe. I have 2 or 3 different stories down the line that I have in mind. 2 of them are fantasy stories. So, it's not sword and sorcery, but it is fantasy. Something that I feel very strongly about. There's one story that I even had in mind prior to Table for One and prior to The Infidel. And it's been the one that has stayed with me since. So that's the one clearly I'll do after the Fountainhead, after I finish Pigman, and then that. And let me just say it's called Brainbow. There's a reason why. More mind travel, let's just say that. And then there's something to do with the founding fathers as well, another fantasy. So I have those. Mike Hunt says, all I know is I couldn't put on muscle before finding Mike Menzer. Okay. Yeah, I mean, from what I gather, he's the real deal. Mike Menzer, I always hear that about him. Menzer is the reason I got into Objective. Is really okay. Wow, Dare the Wonder says Menzer is the reason why I got into. Mike, I love David Lynch's Dune. Lynch Dune is so bad. It's funny. I saw it years ago, and prefer the latest iteration. I'll just say that in terms of visually. Mike Hunt says it's ironic that objectivists find each other, don't want to become a collective. That's right. And that's the thing, it's like, I'm an objectivist. I don't necessarily like the movements per se. I just don't. A lot of guys in there, a lot of women in there. I don't know. Some of the reasons I think they find themselves in there, I'm not quite sure about. I don't think there are good reasons. Let me just say that. But again, the philosophy is sound, regardless of who may follow it or who may adhere to it. The philosophy is sound, indeed. Yes, his turban does look like, yeah, it is. It was on purpose. I give Muhammad devil horn turban, and I give him, of course, a Muhammad Hitler mustache, right, as part of his look. And of course, the reason why is because Hitler was a fan of Islam. He was. He called it a muscular, masculine religion, right? He thought Christianity was flabby, didn't care for it. So Mike says, I still like stories about Diogenes, even though he was clearly just a hobo, right? But he was a philosopher, right? I mean, wasn't that the thing about Diogenes, and he lived like a bum? Amoral fat 40 ounces laughing at something I don't know exactly. Dare the Wonder says there was one Israeli soldier hoisting the pride flag in Gaza. Best pride moment ever. Hilarious. Mike Hunt says an Australian TV show host tricked an imam into putting a fatwa on another TV presenter who snubbed him as a joke. Hilarious. He told the imam it was a joke, so apparently the fatwa was retracted, but it seemed pretty easy to trick him. Yeah, I mean, they're dumb. I mean, they are. Those who take this religion as seriously as do, they're dumb. They could be. That's why, when I have Pigman wear pigskin leather, it's not just a joke. It's funny, right? He exploits their bigotry, as I call it, their bigotry, right? But they believe it. They believe that if they come in contact with the pig in any capacity, they lose their shot to get to paradise. That's stupid. Okay, so Egon the Dragon Cock says, hey Bosch, loved your video on the Mass Kelly Year 1 art edition. Thanks. I bought it the other day. Oh man, completely worth it. Apparently they are doing a Born Again artist edition in March. I have the Born Again artist edition. I have it. It's not as big as Batman Year 1. Is it something other than that? If you could let me know. Is it something other than that? Because I have the artist edition, the large one. They did have a smaller one as well, which I might be releasing as well. I have Batman Year 1, which is, again, as good as it gets. It's beautiful. A stunning piece of art. I have Daredevil Born Again, artist edition. I have the Sin City, artist edition. I have this big book. Ditko is amazing. It's not an artist edition, but it's a huge version of a number of the earliest Spider-Man comics. It's great. I have the Dark Knight Returns artist edition as well, which is beautiful. Bravo for Adventure, Alex Toth, artist edition. I have the Amazing Spider-Man, John Romita Sr., artist edition, the comic strip, and then I have artist edition of Daniel Clow's original art. It's called a lot of his original art. He's hit or miss for me, but that opening is. You know what? Let me show you. He's an interesting cartoonist, no doubt about it, right? And check this out. Check this out. Check out this opener. Look at this inside front and back cover. Isn't that stunning? I mean, truly, it's stunning. He's like a ghost in his own art room, right? Daniel Klaus. Love this. And look at his cover also. I mean, look at that. And this guy he did Ghost World, that's what he's most known for. Strange, but good. Strange, but good cartoons. Dark Knight, The Dark Knight Returns, Ars Edition, which is fantastic. Fantastic. And you know what? There was, over the years, right? I remember when there were some pages that looked a little different than what ended up being. I was like, wait a minute, it didn't look like that. It was different, right? And then you got this. You got this page right here, right? The way Klaus Janson inked it. But then the published version was the one that Frank Miller inked, and they have an overlay. Look at this. They look like a semi-transparent overlay. How cool is that? I'm going to be going over this as well. And then they have a lot of stuff in the back. It's great stuff. They have all these images here. They have the posters they had, designs. Man, double page spreads here. Great stuff. One second. This is the one that I mentioned before. Ditko is amazing. I mean, look at that. You know, look at that. Beautiful stuff. You know, to see those early issues, a number of them, in this huge version, it's fantastic. Let me show you one quick look at this, because there's arguably the biggest moment in Spider-Man history, at least early on. It's when Spider-Man became a man. He was a teenager for a number of years, and then it's when he basically did the impossible, and this incredibly powerful, evocative moment. Let me try to find it. You'll know what it is, right? But man, when you see it here, you know, look at this. That famous moment, right? Look at that. In a huge version. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. And then to the person who mentioned Daredevil, Born Again, I do have the Ars edition. You might be referring to a smaller version or something else. Now, what I want to see is Daredevil Man Without Fear, Ars edition, John Romita Jr. I want to see that. I don't know why the hell it's not available. That would be something. The art of John Romita Jr. And Al Williamson. I mean, it was stunning. And in this thing, Max Kelly did a number of drawings in 2007 of Daredevil. Very different than what he did years ago, but look at that. It's awesome. And they're put between each of the chapters. It's fantastic. Beautiful. And then, of course, let me show you one more. Actually, let me just show you this. The Batman Year One, which I did a video about I called it the cracking open. It's the unboxing, right? Man, it's a beautiful piece of work, just absolutely stunning. And then I have also this Sin City. I mean, look at this. Look at that. I mean, when that came out, that was like Miller's back, truly back, because he did Dark Knight Returns, right? And then did a few RoboCop movies, not that good to be honest, and then came back with a vengeance comics. Wrote, penciled, inked, lettered it. I mean, look at this. Look at this art. And look at the pages. And one thing about these books, they have all of the imperfections, which is beautiful. A little whiteout, a little yellow of the paper. Sometimes it looks like almost parchment, sometimes, at least the edges. Beautiful stuff. So give me 1 second, and I'll get back to the questions. Thanks for your patience. I just wanted to show them off because it's just, man, I love that stuff. I also have the Romita Senior. If anyone wants me to show it, let me know. So let me go back. Okay, so, yep. Mike Hunt says, Dick sold Vito the half the show for $1. They are cool now. I guess so. Okay. Immoral Fat 40 ounce. I don't have the flip book yet. I I solicited it a little while back, and what happened was my printer of many years, who never balked at anything I've ever given them. Right? They print my Muhammad books. They print my Peaceful Death Threats books. They print my Muhammad collection books. Everything. Right? I don't know if they balked at this, but they won't do it. And so I've had to find some other printers, and I asked 3 or 4 of them. So far, none. What I might do is, if I find one, I might add that as a bonus to the Pigman, because while it's a Muhammad flip book, Pigman's in there. So, you know, it might be a nice tier to add that for a certain thing. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm going to eventually get it published. I mean, printed. I definitely will. It's like, it's just a matter of time. I got to find the right person who doesn't give a shit. They're out there. It might take a little while to find them, but they're out there. If anyone knows anyone, please let me know. Mike Hunt says, in Travel Saudi, being rejected means death. Yeah, it does. It does. And if you bought into it, though. But again, there's a moment in time where Ed Piskor he was clearly, his own mind, his own body was fighting for life, right? Where he said, what the fuck am I doing? No. And he went right past that. He ran right past that. Because again, I think it was the social rejection more than anything else, because he was part of the tribe, part of the leftist comic book tribe, where he takes pot shots at right wingers. He wouldn't read my comics, right? Because they're beneath him. Give me a fucking break. My comics are better than his. I mean, I've seen some of the stuff. He looked like shit. It really did. The gore stuff, the rapper stuff, it was like terrible. He could barely draw, but he had the right politics, so of course he's welcomed in, right? And then something else about, but again, he wasn't murdered. People can't go there, and just because your boy Zach says it doesn't mean it's gospel. He says a lot of things sometimes. Some of them are really stupid too. We have to appreciate that. The fact that he was out there, I was an avid listener to him for years. I, presented Pigman to him. He called it stupid and dismissed it. I was like, all right, this guy's he's not serious about comics or about even the war against jihad. So I haven't paid attention to him. I tried to listen to some of his rants after Ed Piskor. I was like, nah, that's the wrong way to go about it. In terms of they murdered him, it's like, nah, that's just stupid talk. He knows better. He knows better. Suicide is not murder. I don't give a shit what kind of pressure you're under. I was under a lot of pressure in my life. Okay, I got thousands of savages trying to murder me. I was murdered, rejected by my peers, rejected by my industry. My life has been upended because of my choices, and it's my choices in the end. I'm not going to bitch and moan about it. Well, just because I drove Muhammad, yeah, I know. They want to murder you. I know that, and I still do it, but there are consequences for that. But that's life. That's my choice. Anyway, John Little made Bruce Lee biographies. Yes, I made the movie about the life of Leonard Peikoff. Oh, okay. I think I didn't watch it, but I remember hearing of that. Okay. That's the same John Little. Interesting. He's an objectivist. Wow. I didn't know that. Interesting. I love Bruce Lee. Just watched Dragon the other day. The Bruce Lee story. I forgot the actor's name, but he did a good job. He really did. It was people, well, it's not a, whatever. Take some liberties, sure. But I thought they did a really good job, and he gave the gist of who the man was. If not a lot of the truth, because the last biography told the full ugly truth, and it was pretty ugly, some of it. His extracurricular activities outside of his marriage. I thought he was a more honorable man than that, to be honest. But he took a complete advantage of his position. Don't respect that, but I can still admire him for his work and his ability, especially, of course. Dared wanted to say, I tried getting into American comics at the worst time I read manga. I hear you, man. It's a bad time. Egon the Dragon Cock, what did you think of All-Star Batman and Robin? I get the criticism about it, but I also think it's a bit misunderstood. I don't know. If that's the one that you're talking about with Frank Miller and Jim Lee, it's forgettable. I mean, I had to get it because it's like I was, locked in. Look, Frank Miller no matter my current criticism of him, especially for Holy Terror and all that, right? Plus him trying to get in the good graces of the left after, Holy Terror came out after he criticized the Occupy movement, the leftist movement. Him trying to get into good graces with some terrible work like, what was it called? It was Dark Knight something, The Golden Child, Superman and Wonder Woman's baby, who was a growing boy at the time with powers, and his sister. I think they had 2 children, Superman and Wonder Woman, in the Dark Knight universe. And you got the Joker and Darkseid teaming up to support Trump, to campaign for Trump. Stupid. Just stupid. And it didn't work, and then he has Greta Thunberg at the end, like fighting the power, fighting the machine. Stupid. So All-Star Batman and Robin, better than that, and Jim Lee, he's a pretty cold artist. I mean, he really is. He's a lot of surface stuff. His detail is not necessarily authentic detail like an Alex Toth would draw and Dave Mazzucchelli would draw, or John Romita Jr., where the machinery, the cars, everything looks in a reality. It looks within a reality, right? It's stylized to some extent, but it still looks like it's breathable. It's real. Jim Lee's detail is a lot of chicken scratch. It really is. He put a lot of that stuff, and also the awkwardness of some of his. He could be really good at times, and sometimes not so much. And you could tell he was trying to do a Dark Knight type version. It doesn't really work with his style. Miller's naturally a more simple artist. It worked with his style. It doesn't work with all the cross-hatching and stuff. Just doesn't. And I remember at the time, Jim Lee was talking about they were going to take a chance, right? With Scott Williams was in a brush. He's going to use a brush on Jim Lee's inks, on Jim Lee's pencils. I was like, wow. I was automatically interested. I love using a brush. I don't use it exclusively anymore. I go back and forth between a lot of different tools, but a brush work would have been really good because it would have simplified the art, made it a little more in alignment with Dark Knight Returns, which is what Lee was going for. That was his version. He was taking Miller's version and trying to emulate it to some extent. But his version, again, looks more like, I think Ethan Van Sciver was talking about this, it looks more like a superhero. And Batman's not a superhero per se. He's a creature of the night, right? You draw him in shadows. He's not, the gray and the light blue. It really doesn't work. It really doesn't work. The Batman Year One, the black mask, the black cape, right? That works. Black. And Dark Knight Returns, after the blue with the oval, he comes back with it's either all black cape and mask or portrayed as gray. So it limited the color palette, which is what you need for Batman. I mean, you can't have him walking around with bright gray, like a light gray and a blue, as it ended up being in the 70s. That's not a creature of the night. I don't know what the hell that is. Terrible. Look like rubber. Mike asked, didn't the Saskas? So I didn't really care for the All-Star Batman and Robin. Egon, I got it. I got the 9 issues. It was never finished, right? Why? I don't know. They didn't care to finish it, so who the hell cares about it at this point? But moments, sure. Some visuals, sure. Stupid things also, like Miller started repeating himself a lot, like a drunk. In a lot of ways, and he admitted that he was a drunk for a while. He was an alcoholic. Vicky Vale, right? Talking about Bruce Wayne and repeating it over and over and over again for like pages. Is Bruce Wayne going to see this? Is Bruce Wayne going to see something like that? I was like, that's annoying, man. So he kept getting in the way of the whatever story he was trying to tell. Batman was a nasty guy. He forced Robin to eat rats in the Batcave to survive. I don't know. You can't manufacture those kind of things. Either they happen naturally or they don't. You don't force that on a kid who just had a trauma. Parents get murdered. I don't know. That's not what happened to Bruce Wayne. So why is he trying to put that on the kid? But it was a real mess. I haven't looked at it in years. But I gotta say, the Dark Knight 3 wasn't bad. There were some story elements in there pretty good. With the Kryptonians, the city of Kandor, and Superman. He gave Superman a little more respect in that one. Which is good because he's been such an ass about Superman and Frank Miller for years. And one of his excuses was, why Superman can fly and you can't. It's like, of course you hate him. It's like, what? Stupid. Corny. But anyway, Mike says, didn't the Salsa Sisters do a movie called The Fountainhead? Did they? I don't know. Maybe Golden Showerhead. Maybe. Egon said, "Is that the puke porn movie?" Salty Traveling Sea. Brilliant on the fantasy idea. I'd love to check that out. Yeah, it's a long, festering. Maybe that's not the right word. Festering. It's like a negative connotation, but it's a long. It's something that I thought about many years ago, and so yeah, it's fantasy. Two fantasy stories after this. I got The Table for one night in a running restaurant in Manhattan. I got Pigman, right, and then I have fantasy stories and I have The Fountainhead. So it's really different, and I love it all. I love every single one that I've done. People, they get sick of their work sometimes. Oh, I can't stand it. I love my work, love it. I could look at it. I mean, I'm not sickened by it. I'm like, people say, oh, I can't stand looking at my old stuff. I look at my old stuff. I enjoy it. I give everything I have to my work. I mean, I don't, it's, and in particular the story. That's really what it is. And I don't overwork my art. I don't do that. I don't care to do that. But I won't skimp either. I'll draw what I need to draw, and as Toth said, cut it to the bone, right? But then draw the hell out of what's left, right? Some along those lines. It's not the exact words, but some along those lines. Hit like a moral fat 40 ounce. I don't know about this thing, maybe. Egon says it's apparently going to be just like the year one artist edition. I mean, that's a thing. It's like, I have the one. I just showed you, if you saw it. But it's a similar, if you just interesting, right? Because the Batman Year One is 14 by 21. It's huge. It's as big as the Sin City one, as big as the Ditko's Amazing one. Those are the biggest ones. And the Daredevil Born Again one, artist edition, is 3 inches shorter. It's shorter. Interesting. My current project, it's 14 by 21, the pages. Huge. The biggest page I've ever done, ever. So that's fun too. Change it up, Is there any comic book like One Piece? I've seen the One Piece manga. I've seen the One Piece anime. I haven't read the manga. I haven't watched the anime, but I've seen it. I enjoyed the show. I enjoyed the One Piece show. I gotta say that. It's definitely enjoyable. Very enjoyable. Emerald fat, face blue wide eyes, face blue wide. I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. One Piece is the best. Yeah, it's a really good show. The show's good. I didn't care for the anime that I've seen with the huge eyes and stuff, and the monkey. What was his name? I forgot the guy's name, but good actor too. It was really, really good. Mike Kahn said, I thought I'd see more pushback on the new Dune movie, as it's about white guys tricking brown people into jihad. Maybe woke is over. Maybe it is. I don't know. I mean, it'll be elements of it. There's always been elements of it, right? The left is always here. And whatever we call woke, it's a leftist. It's communists shoving their shit into our culture. That's what it is. We call it woke because, again, it's like calling jihadists extremists. They're just Muslims. They're just devout Muslims is what they are. They're not extremists. These wokeists are not extreme communists. They're just communists. And they want to bring it all down. When you have these rats, like there was one piece of shit, some guy calling himself a woman, saying his motive, right? He's working at that, what's it called? The place that was working on video games. They were trying to bring it down. He said literally, explicitly, I want to burn down the video game industry. Something along those lines, right? This is what they want. And they sometimes come out and say it. Because they want to be edgier than their friends who will try to hide that, right? They want to say it because that's what they want. They want to bring it all down. They want to bring down movies, comics, entertainment, Western society, Western civilization. That's what they really want. And that's not an exaggeration. That's a fact. Egon, that's awesome. Maybe he's talking about the artist editions. Mike said, One Piece is good. I never understood why people avoid it because it's long. If it sucks, stop reading it. If it's good, you'll want to be along. Bro, it's too short. Jim tells you, Boss Foss, why aren't you in the ARA room? What's the ARA room? What is that? I don't even know what that is. I mean, that's why I'm not in there. I don't know. If you could follow up, I appreciate it. ARA. Are you talking about the ARA as in rifles, American Rifle Association? Is that what you're talking about? again, I keep all those things close to the vest. I don't talk about it, about what I do for my defense. It's not something that I discuss, but if something happens, people will know about it. Mike Hunt says, I stopped reading after the time skip. I hate time skips with a passion. It's like someone tore the center out of a novel I was reading. Thanks for all interactions here, guys. I do appreciate it. Dare to Wonder. 1 second. I was supposed to do something. Okay. Give me 1 second. Ten minutes, guys. Okay. 10 minutes, guys. Canada. Dare to Wonder says, what's a good way to get into American comics? As in, to read them? I think, I mean, the two that come to mind, Dark Knight Returns, Daredevil Born Again, in terms of superhero comics. The original Spider-Man 38 issues with Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, and the Fantastic Four, the first 102 issues with Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. A lot. I mean, there's a lot of comics out there. Alex Toth, clearly, but, in terms of stories-wise, I mean, he didn't have the best writers. He was the best artist, but he didn't have the best writers. But yeah, Daredevil Born Again, Batman Year One, Batman Dark Knight Returns, Watchmen, clearly Watchmen. It's a solid piece of work, a great piece of work. There's a lot out there. Roger Stern, John Reed Jr., 1980, Spider-Man, great stuff. Issue 226 to 250, I believe. That was their run. And unfortunately, there was a different inker almost every issue. There was no consistency there in the art. I love John Reed Jr. in the 80s. I mean, he was fantastic. But the lack of consistent inker, I don't know why the hell they did that. If they had Terry Olsen on there, imagine. For 24 issues. So yeah, I'm going to check out in 10 minutes. I have something to do, but I was going to go through these last ones, and then Mike says, Canada is hardly in the Akira manga you could... Is that a Kaneda? Is that a joke about Canada? I'm not sure. You could call his arc... I'm not sure, actually. Those books are massive. I never really differentiate between manga. Time skips are cool. Sorry, guys. I'm just going to go through these pretty quick. Can I get this flash erase off? You guys can see it? Okay, he wants to invite me. Okay, yeah, sure. Sure, Jim. Mike said, I grabbed that Brian Boland art book. It's all the production art with masking tape used on the speech bubble. So cool. Are you talking about Brian Boland? Which art book? Are you talking about the... Okay. Dare to Wonder says, Zach married a Muslim woman. Yes. Now, I remember your boy Zach talking about walking with his daughter who had a headscarf and she's Muslim. It's like, okay, did he knock up some woman? From what I gather, he has a few different women, right? A few different wives or ex-wives. And I think he knocked up a Muslim woman and he got a Muslim girl. But in America, she's wearing a scarf. Why? Headscarf. Why? I don't know why. So probably on that point, he looks at Pigman and says, oh, I have a daughter who's Muslim. You're going to make fun of Islam? Yeah. Yeah, I will criticize it to the death, yes, I will. And had a kid and divorced her. Okay, yeah. And he did this two other times. One of them is Mexican Jew. Guys, he's a real character. He's a real character. Okay. Sorry, I just got a message. Piscor, Mike says, Piscor needed philosophy. He should have drawn a comic about a lefty getting turned on and canceled. Yeah, turned on and canceled. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, Ed Piscor could have used this in his work. If you want to be an honest cartoonist, instead of giving praise to shit rap music and his rap idols, make a goddamn true story, right? Talk about your cancellation. Do a Harvey Pekar style, realistic, quote unquote, comic book about your cancellation. Ed, that I would have been interested in. And maybe you guys here as well. I would have been interested in that. So let me just go, because I got to go in a few minutes. Dare to Wonder, Chuck Dixon is great. Nice guy, too. Yeah, Chuck is great. He really is. Great writer. Good guy. Mike Hunt says, perfection is attained not when there is nothing left to add, but when there is nothing left to remove 100%. That's the Toth ethic. Mike, I think alcoholism destroyed Simon Bisley art. He was my favorite for a time. His art and judgment on Gotham and Slain were groundbreaking. He was very good, Simon Bisley. I remember that hilarious Santa Claus being an assassin, something like that, or Lobo going to assassinate Santa Claus, killing him, and then because the Easter Bunny put a hit on Santa Claus. Anyway, funny stuff. Stephen Grant wrote it, I believe, and Simon Bisley drew it. Hilarious. Anti-Ripple Lines. I see. Okay, definitely. It's hilarious. Now, I don't know where that is. Is it on X or somewhere else? 'Cause I don't even, sometimes I hear about these groups and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know where they are. Some kind of forums. I don't know. Mike says, now that I think about it, maybe lefties like Dune because it's about white people radicalizing brown people. They do seem to look down on other races thinking they need help. Canada's a protect. Okay. I guess Canada, Stephen Smith says. I think it's Canada. Okay. I thought it was mocking Canada. Canada. Okay. For all its faults, I still appreciate and respect your boy, Zach. Yeah, I mean, look, the guy clearly tapped into something that we were all interested in hearing, right? This serious criticism against the modern comic book industry. It's disgusting. And he was saying it in a way that resonated with a lot of us. So, flaws and all, sure. But to be dismissed, to dismiss my work as a name pig man is like, well, I saw some of his early comics. Not that good, man. I saw Jawbreakers, and he was asking for, some kind of feedback, right? So I gave him feedback. And never heard back from him, I'm an actual established cartoonist, so. Okay. Thanks, Jim. Appreciate it. Guys, thanks for chiming in. I do appreciate it. Again, you want to check out my work, boxwalls.com. You can purchase my original art. I have a post down. You got to scroll down for a bit. Original art. You can buy my comic book art. It's more expensive than my single drawing art, but that's just the nature of it. It's a lot more work in there, right? You get all my comics, my books. I have 6 books. I have 3 comics so far. I have a number of trading cards, 15 trading cards, I believe, at this point. Muhammad playing cards, so check it out, guys. Thanks for being here. I really do appreciate it. You guys be well. Until next time. Thank you. Take care, guys.